Ghost opens with that pottery wheel, a moment so tender it almost felt too intimate to watch. Back when romance films let women cry without apology, when theaters were places where strangers breathed together through love stories, Ghost became a kind of shared grief ritual. You and your girlfriends planned your weekends around films like this, knowing a good cry felt like coming home. What audiences didn't know was how much real heartbreak, protection, and female solidarity was happening behind the camera. This film was made by people who were hurting and healing in real time. If you always felt a strange ache watching it, it's because you were connecting to something deeply real. That feeling is valid. These are 17 long, documented emotional facts about Ghost, sharing the hidden pain, the protective friendships, and the moments that gave us permission to feel everything. Fact number 1, Demi Moore's tears weren't acting, they were real heartbreak. If Molly's grief felt so physical, it's because it truly was. Demi Moore confirmed in multiple interviews that during filming she was in a vulnerable and transitional place emotionally. She was coping with a painful breakup and wrestling with questions of identity, self-worth, and direction. The film's director, Jerry Zucker, said he cast her not just for her talent, but for the sheer honesty in her vulnerability. For the intense scenes where Molly breaks down alone, Demi said she didn't need glycerin. She would simply walk away, breathe into her personal pain, and let the camera find her where she truly was. She channeled her real life into Molly's story, giving us all permission to feel the raw reality of loss. Fact number 2, Whoopi Goldberg became Demi's emotional protector on set. Demi was only 27 and still early in her career, surrounded mostly by older men behind the camera. Whoopi Goldberg, already respected in Hollywood, recognized the high emotional cost of playing Molly's deep grief. Crew members later said that Whoopi kept an eye on Demi, especially after intense scenes. She'd call Demi over, make her laugh, and gently check in. Whoopi has said she saw Demi trying to carry everything alone, and she made it her purpose to ensure Demi never felt isolated. This bond wasn't scripted, it was pure survival and solidarity, woman to woman, in an industry that didn't always encourage women to support each other. Fact number 3, Patrick Swayze wasn't supposed to play Tender Sam. It's hard to imagine, but the studio didn't believe Patrick Swayze could play a tender or spiritual character like Sam. They only saw him as the tough guy from Roadhouse or the heartthrob from Dirty Dancing. Director Jerry Zucker admitted he resisted the idea until Patrick insisted on auditioning. Patrick read the emotional hospital monologue, the devastating moment where Sam realizes he's dead, and the performance was so raw that no one in the room could breathe normally. Zucker instantly knew that was the moment we had a movie. Patrick wasn't merely acting grief, he was channeling something profound that already lived inside him. Fact number 4, Patrick channeled his deep personal loss into Sam's grief. Patrick's powerful performance was deeply rooted in the unresolved pain from losing his father, whom he adored. He spoke openly about how his father's death left him with unresolved pain that he never fully processed. Playing a man desperately trying to reach the woman he loves from beyond life triggered an emotional storm he wasn't expecting. Between takes, crew saw him quietly step away, hands on his knees, breathing through memories he couldn't outrun. He later said in interviews that Ghost forced him to feel things he had been keeping in a locked room. Fact number 5, the friendship between Demi and Whoopi lasted decades. The emotional honesty that anchors Ghost was built on the real friendship Demi and Whoopi formed, grounded in deep trust. Whoopi has repeatedly shared that Demi showed up for me as much as I showed up for her. Demi credits Whoopi with giving her courage and laughter at a time when she felt profoundly fragile. Their genuine trust is the real secret behind the film's power. When Molly finally believes Oda Mae, the small tremble in Demi's chin and the softening in Whoopi's eyes aren't acting choices. They're two women holding each other in a deeply real moment that neither had to fake. Fact number 6. Patrick Swayze used his power to ensure Whoopi was cast. This stands as one of the most powerful acts of allyship in the film's history, and Whoopi never forgot it. Producers didn't want Whoopi Goldberg for the role of Oda Mae. They reportedly imagined someone quieter. Patrick Swayze firmly insisted on reading the scene with her. The moment they finished the audition, Patrick turned to the studio executives and gave them an ultimatum. If she's not Oda Mae, I'm not Sam. Whoopi later said that moment changed my life, and that Patrick stood up in a way most men in this business don't. That is a perfect example of protective male allyship, power used for kindness. Fact number 7. The iconic pottery scene almost disappeared. Can you imagine Ghost without that magical, tender, sensual moment at the pottery wheel? Director Jerry Zucker thought the scene was too corny, too sentimental for a mainstream film. Patrick and Demi begged him just to try it. They rehearsed privately, focusing not on sensuality, but on trust, learning to move together and breathe together. When they filmed it, the entire crew went silent. Patrick later described their intention perfectly. We wanted it to feel like two souls touching, not two bodies. Fact number 8. Demi carried the emotional center, and it took a toll. Demi Moore carried the heavy emotional center of the film, and the necessity of living in that state took a measurable toll. Director Zucker said she had to live in grief for months. Crew members observed that Demi often stayed quiet on set between takes, because she needed to stay connected to Molly's constant pain. She described the emotional demands of the role as walking around with an open chest. Even in the lighter scenes early on, Demi said she played Molly as someone who loves fiercely precisely because she knows how fragile happiness is. Fact number 9. The tenderness between Patrick and Whoopi became the film's spine. The genuine, unexpected tenderness that grew between Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg became the film's essential emotional spine. Whoopi said Patrick treated her as the heart of the story, not merely the comic relief. During her powerful emotional breakdown scene, when Oda Mae truly feels the weight of Sam's presence, Whoopi recalled that Patrick stood just off camera, eyes locked on hers, silently giving her all the emotional support she needed. She said simply, "Patrick held me together." Fact number 10. Ditto was Patrick's private language of love. The iconic word ditto was not the invention of a screenwriter. It came directly from Patrick Swayze's marriage. Patrick said he and Lisa, his wife since he was 19, had a running joke about how difficult it was for him to say the words, "I love you." He would use the simple, powerful shortcut ditto. Bringing that private emotional language into the film made Sam's love for Molly feel painfully authentic, something real couples immediately recognized. Lisa confessed she teared up watching that moment because it was our private thing, suddenly glowing on the screen. Fact number 11. The subway ghost provided Patrick with emotional grounding. Vincent Schiavelli, who played the subway ghost, became a surprising source of emotional grounding for Patrick during the rough weeks of filming. Patrick spoke of Vincent as one of the most soulful actors he had ever worked with. Their conversations between takes, often about profound topics like loss, fear, love, and regret, helped Patrick stay emotionally open and present for his heaviest scenes. Patrick credited Vincent for genuinely helping me walk through the shadows. Fact number 12. Molly. Finally hearing. Sam was filmed when Demi was truly raw. The deeply moving scene where Molly is finally forced to hear Sam through Oda Mae late at night was filmed when Demi was already utterly exhausted and emotionally raw. Director Zucker confirmed it was nearly 3 a.m., and Demi had been crying on and off for hours. When Whoopi took her hands in the scene, Demi's visible shaking was entirely real. Zucker said they didn't need to push her for the emotion because she was right there, hurting in a way the camera understood. Fact number 13. Patrick quietly protected Demi's emotional breaks. Patrick Swayze watched over Demi quietly throughout the entire filming process. Demi later said she felt profoundly held emotionally by him. Crew members recalled Patrick frequently asking for small schedule adjustments to ensure Demi received breaks after particularly heavy, exhausting scenes. Crucially, he never made the requests about her personal struggle. He phrased it as technical needs for the scene, ensuring she wouldn't feel exposed. This was protective male allyship, using his status for her dignity and space. Fact number 14, the hospital goodbye scene, triggered Patrick's own loss. The final hospital goodbye scene, where Sam speaks to Molly one last time, was the moment that nearly broke Patrick. He said it violently reminded him of losing his own father and triggered memories he had kept hidden for years. Demi cried watching him, not because the script demanded it of Molly, but because she saw Patrick break open in front of the camera. Director Zucker confirmed the depth of the moment, stating the emotion in that scene was not acting, it was loss. Fact 15. Whoopi Goldberg felt Ghost saved her career. Whoopi Goldberg has openly stated that landing the role in Ghost saved her emotionally and professionally. At that point in her career, she felt Hollywood didn't know where to place her. Patrick and Demi's fierce support made her feel valued, protected, and central to the story. When she ultimately won the Academy Award for the role, she said it wasn't a solo victory. It was something Patrick and Demi helped make possible through their belief in her. Fact 16. Patrick and Demi's shared breathing ritual before heavy scenes. Before filming any of their heavy, intimate scenes, Patrick and Demi had a shared ritual. They would simply touch foreheads, close their eyes, and breathe together until their breathing patterns matched. Demi confirmed this private ritual years later, calling it a way of saying, I'm here, you're here, let's tell the truth together. This commitment to mutual emotional honesty is the real secret behind the breathtaking chemistry you see on screen. Fact number 17, the profound final goodbye made the crew cry. The emotional authenticity of the final goodbye scene was so powerful that it moved the people behind the camera to tears. Director Zucker said it was the only time in his career he'd ever witnessed every single technician, grips, lighting, camera, props people, silently crying behind their equipment. Demi Moore summarized the profound nature of the moment by saying, "It wasn't Sam leaving Molly. It was all of us letting go of something. Your longing for that love to last was shared by every person on the soundstage. Ghost was made by people who were hurting and healing in real time. Demi was rebuilding herself after loss. Patrick was grieving his father, and Whoopi was finding her place again. But because they were honest about their pain, the film became a lifeline for millions of women who cried with Molly, hoped with her, and missed with her. Back when romance films let women feel deeply without apology, Ghost told a story about a love that lasts longer than life. If it still brings tears to your eyes, that's not just nostalgia. That's profound connection. You are absolutely not alone in feeling that ache, that longing, and that belief in a love that refuses to leave. Your feelings matter.